Hello everyone, welcome to week 25 in the school year. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, my name is Marily Sanchez and I'm a 4th grade teacher in South Florida. Today is Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. We just came back from a long weekend and I left you since last Thursday because I was not feeling well. Got newsflash for you. I went to urgent care and I got diagnosed with bronchitis and a double ear infection. So I'm currently on antibiotics for another couple of days and I used up my long weekend to rest up and try to get my energy back. But today coming back, I realized that I should have probably stayed home another day because it was kind of hard coming back to school today. But we made it. We just finished Minecraft Club. And I want to let you know what we ended up doing. Today I started with my Block 2, my ELO learners, and we read Moon Over Star, or The Moon Over Star. We talked about it. They really loved listening to the story. Then we talked about star parties and had a little brain break after that. And then I had my afternoon group, my advanced group, and they mostly worked on the assignment that I left for them for the sub. So let me show you what that looked like. Students got to read this passage from Wonders. This is a differentiated passage. So this one is B1 for Beyond. My ELL students had the one that said EL or E for ELL. So this is a historical fiction on Leonardo da Vinci. Well, it makes an allusion to Leonardo da Vinci, especially when you look at this illustration here. But this is Leonardo at 12 years old creating his mechanical knight. So I did take up a teachable moment to show the students a video on Leonardo's robot or mechanical knight. The students really enjoyed that. So we were looking at point of view, we were looking at character perspective, the description of the setting and character development. I had them go ahead and make annotations. So this is my example. So they made annotations about describing the setting, something they loved, something they found surprising, the point of view, character perspective, and of course questions that they had. And they also filled out a character perspective graphic organizer on Albira's perspective on Leonardo's invention. And then I had them do a writing assignment where they're writing to Leonardo about, well, related to this quote that he said, that machines could help people do things they've never done before, like go to the bottom of the sea or to the stars. So I wanted them to write a letter to Leonardo, letting him know about all the inventions that we now have that help us do things we couldn't before. So this is my example. So that's basically what my afternoon group, my advanced group, got to do. And that's it. I collected their papers. Tomorrow they take the assessment for this unit on performance matters, and my ELO students will take the scaffolded assessment. And for my ELO students, we also took notes on the story on the board. So as you can see, we were reminding ourselves about the different point of views and how we can tell character perspective and the setting of the passage, The Moon Over Star. So that's pretty much all that we have for today, Tuesday. I'm going to gather my things and rest up for the rest of the day. I'll see you tomorrow. It's the end of the day, Wednesday, and today is an early release day, so the students went home at 1:50, and it is way past that. So let me go ahead and let you know what we did today. I started with my homeroom, which is my advanced group. This morning we had a fire drill, so after the fire drill, we'll continue with our activity for the morning where I had the students read the paired selection for Wonders Unit 4, weeks 3 and 4, which was Star Parties. This is the selection right here. It is an expository text, which is different, and we can compare it to our anchor text, which was historical fiction. It also has many text features like sidebars and diagrams, as well as a list, a numbered list, and of course headings and photos and captions and a map. So we talked about all that, but what I wanted the students to do was identify the text structure. To help them with that, I went ahead and I reviewed text structures via the vocabulary video on text structure, which goes over the 5 main text structures, and then I gave students a sticky note. We also reviewed the text structures right here, and there's one way that I'm trying to help them remember, which is 3CPD. 3C, which is the first 3 text structures that have the C. I mean, I say first, but they're not really first. It's whatever order, but cause and effect, compare and contrast, and chronological order / sequence. P is for problem solution, and D is for description. So with their sticky note, I went ahead and had them organize it like this. So it ended up being an exit ticket for me to understand if they got the text structure, which they did after we read the passage. We reviewed the text structures, and they were able to give me evidence that describes why that is the text structure. So I have all the stickies right here that the students completed so that I can review their answers. Then it was time for them to take the Wonders assessment on performance matters. They have not finished, so we'll see when they finish, because tomorrow in the morning I'm testing my ELL students. So if I do have them in the afternoon, hopefully, they will be able to finish that test. And if they're all done and we still have time, I can introduce the unit and not be too far behind where I want to be right now with regards to the pacing guide. Then I had my ELO students this afternoon, and with them, I reviewed the test, and then I gave it to them so that they can work on it. They have the scaffolded version of the test, and then after that, they were working on completing their iReady and Imagine Learning minutes. To give you an idea, this is the test that my advanced group takes on the computer. So this is the paper format of it. So they have one passage called The Computer Age in this unit, and it follows 6 questions. Some of them they have to answer more than one answer. Some of them have part A and a part B, etc. This one went over synonyms. It went over point of view, character, perspective, and the setting. And then after they finish answering that, they have a second passage. This one is an expository text on Benjamin Franklin, which also follows the descriptive text structure. So this one also went over vocabulary as well as the descriptive text structure. So they had 2 questions on vocabulary. So this is for conducted, and this is for propel. And question 9 and 10 was on how the author uses the description text structure. So that's what my advanced group gets. And this is the scaffolded test that my ELL students get, level 1s and 2 ELL, which are all the students in my second group. This is the scaffolded test that our bilingual department creates for our students. So they have all these scaffolds and helpers for them to understand and engage with the text and access the text better. And they only get access to the first text, and they'll answer the questions. And what they also do is they'll eliminate one of the answers. So they have the same 6 questions for this passage, but they'll have an option that has been eliminated. And when they get to that question where they have to write, they're just using a word bank to complete or fill in the blank to answer that question on point of view. They also provide scaffolds like anchor text and little reminders. So that is what my ELL students were working on today. And that's all I have for today, Wednesday. We are quickly making it to the weekend again. I still feel pretty exhausted and tired. It's just my body trying to heal from the bronchitis and all that. So I'm going to go home, do my appointment, and probably go to sleep. Yesterday I got home and I went right to sleep. Yes, that's how exhausted I was. And today, even though it was early release, still feel exhausted. So I will catch up with you tomorrow. It's the end of the day, Thursdays. The students were dismissed, and I survived Thursday. Boy, one of my classes was on point. The other class was super chatty, even though they were taking a test. Mind you, this is the class with 27 students, and I'm trying really hard to work on this, but we're gonna get there. So in the morning, I had my ESOL class, and we introduced a new unit for Wonders, Unit 4, Week 5, which is a poetry unit on narrative poems. I gave them the reflection sheet to introduce the unit, and they can reflect on each part of the introduction of the unit, which is the weekly opener video, the study blast, and our read aloud. And this is how that sheet looks. So very similar to my previous sheets. I created this myself, and with my ELL students, I give them some sentence starters so that they can go ahead and write their reflections. So we have one for the opener video, for the study blast, and for the listening comprehension, which was a poem called Sam's Box. And on the board, I took notes of the video. So I actually had the students tell me who were they talking about and how were they showing success. Because with this unit, our essential question, as you saw from the paper, is how do writers show success in different ways? So, for example, we have someone who likes science or is good at science. They can show success by winning the science fair. If they're good at sports, maybe they can win a trophy. If they're good at spelling, maybe they can win the spelling bee. If they're an actor, they can just have applause from the audience, which shows that not all forms of success have to be an object that you actually touch. Then for each section of the introduction, to help them come up with words to complete their reflection, I get them words that go with the feeling, and they also gave me the words, and I wrote them on the board. Something that was interesting, of course, this is from our read aloud, because it was the last thing, and something that they were thinking about when they were listening to it. This list is just a list of words that the students wanted me to write so that they knew how to spell it and write it on their paper. So that's why my board looks like this today. Then I had my afternoon group, which is my advanced group, which is my homeroom group. Tomorrow I have them in the morning. They needed to work on finishing their test. And pretty much everyone is done except maybe 3 people. One person wasn't here today, and 2 are just about done. They're just reviewing their answers. I really need them to finish tomorrow morning so I can introduce the unit just like I did with my other class. And yeah, we used the whole entire period to do that. And that was our day. So we didn't do the ESOL WIDA testing that we were supposed to do today. They postponed it for next week, Tuesday and Thursday. So we'll be doing that next week. And I'm glad, because now I can plan for it and make sure I put my lessons that I need to work on for next week. I am tired. I'm going to go home and I will wrap up the week tomorrow. We've made it to Friday. It is the end of week 25, and it was a pretty great day. I started with my block 1, and they behaved so nicely today. They earned more smileys in their reward jar, and they're only 4 away from filling up the whole jar. And the other class also got some smileys. They're 3 away from filling up the whole jar. And we also got more Post-its out of our mystery prize for the whole class. So it was great. I started my homeroom with our Smart Start slide, which was projected when the students came in so they knew what to do. They had a quick write activity on their desk similar to what my ELL students did yesterday. And students who did not finish their Wonders test were working on it, which were about 3 students. And as a reminder, here's the quick write activity paper that they got. They have a sentence starter. As I opened my backpack, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw. And then they had some lines to write along with adding a picture. I want to say I spent most of my class time on this writing activity because I saw how engaged the students were. They wanted more time to continue their stories. They were having such a great time coming up with ideas. Then I wanted to make sure everybody had an opportunity to share their story. So I had them work on a group and read each other's stories. Or basically, that one person will read their story, everybody will listen, and they will take turns sharing their story. And then I had 3 people share to the whole class in the end. They really loved this. They said, can we continue the story next week? And I know that other students want to share, so I want to make sure I give them some time to share next week. But it was so great to see them excited about writing and using their creative licenses as authors to write. So really enjoyed that. And then we went ahead and I introduced a unit to them. We looked at the inspirational video that was in the bilingual department ELL reading presentation, which was a Disney motivational kind of video. And then we went ahead and watched the weekly opener video to introduce our unit for week 5 on how do authors show success in different ways. So the students did their reflection on that, and then we'll continue next week. With my block 2, my ELL students, they were working on reading the shared read poems, and these are the poems that we read. We are working with narrative poetry, and this one is called Sing to Me. Beautiful poem, goes over repetition. It has a lot of different figurative language, and the students were able to identify the theme. I did my whole lesson in English with my ELL students. They're slowly grasping the language. I want them to practice answering in English, and they really understood the poem. So I was really excited about it. And we read The Climb. And in both poems, again, we identified the theme and what we can learn from it. We looked at repetition, and we talked about the images that we were able to see, because we're also looking at imagery. After that, I went ahead and used our bilingual ELL PowerPoint to introduce the vocabulary words. So we went ahead and introduced all of our 8 words, and 4 of them are on poetry. So we went ahead and did that, and then afterwards we did the word wall activity, where students played a type of hangman, where they needed to look at the clue here, so a great victory or success, and they needed to try to find out the letters that went along with that. So once they got the word correct, it gave them points, and then we moved on to the next word. And of course, I showed this in big screen so that the students can come to the board and take turns answering. We didn't quite finish. We didn't get to the last 2 words, so we'll probably pick this up next week. Then after that, it was time for art, and after art, we needed to make sure we finished our iReady minutes since it's Friday, and I still had a couple of students that didn't finish along with their Imagine Learning, so that's what we ended up doing for the rest of the day. That is basically it for today. I just printed out my lesson plans for next week. I am getting ready to leave again at contract hours, so I'm so excited, and I get to enjoy my weekend. So I hope you enjoyed coming along with me on week 25. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought or any questions you may have. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications so you don't miss any future videos. I hope you have a beautiful, magical day, and don't forget to smile.
Hello dreamers, wishers, and magical thinkers. Thank you so much for making it to the very end of this video and for showing your support. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do so by clicking on my picture down here. You can also check out my latest videos here and here. Don't forget to believe in the magic that's inside you, because you are capable of great things. See you next time.